This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Let's talk about Miley because she's done her first interview where she's really discussed some personal issues, where she's opened up like never before. And you always wonder what goes on behind the scenes. And we know it's been a rough time for Miley, but not just Miley and the family. We know that mum and dad have separated, then they lost their house in the fires in LA. The drama of Miley and her career has gone on for quite a while.
Well, Billy Ray's doing all right with Elizabeth Hurley at the moment.
Isn't that the strangest pairing you've ever heard of?
I know.
But love is love. Do they want to come? Oh, no, they're not singles.
No.
Just going to get them along to the boat. I mean, this is Miley talking about how, there were times in the past 10 years where the family simply did not speak. Have a listen.
My family and I have had a really difficult decade. Yeah, half of us weren't speaking to each other at one point, and we cleaned all that up because of, I had a lot of loyalty to my mom, the way that families do when parents get divorced, But, I definitely, in that situation, I watched what happens when you don't clean things up as they're happening. They really do stack, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, it's been 10 years, and this is a mess that I barely even know how to start. This is like emotional hoarding. To get each other in a room to even get to counseling would have been a war.
Could you imagine?
It's actually a good term, emotional hoarding.
Isn't it? You bottle it all up inside.
You do, and it just gets larger and larger, and the problem becomes worse.
Emotions compounded. Then goes on to talk about her brother and sister and how at some stages they were too embarrassed to even go to school because of Miley.
There was even a time where my brother and sister didn't want to go to school because of how humiliated they were to be related to me. And I remember even, my brother at one point, he was saying, I don't judge you, but you could understand how hard it is for me to go to school and you be my sister. I was a hard sibling to have as a little girl, so I was like, all right, we're even. But it was really hard for me in 2013, and I lost everything during that time in my personal life because of the choices I was making professionally. If I kept dressing or acting a certain way, my relationships fell apart. No one wanted to date me because they didn't want to be with a woman that sexual expression part was not for them.
Speaking very openly. It's still a party in the USA.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Do you know what else is fascinating? An interview that I just saw on social media. Katy Perry's played her last show, Fitz, as we jump from Miley to Katy.
Has
Tommy
she
was
left
at the
the
first
country?
one. No, she heads to Melbourne now. She's here for a month.
She's off to...
She caught up with the greatest entertainment reporter on the planet, Richard
Nelson
Wilkins.
Aspen?
No, Richard Wilkins. The great Dickie and Katy just after the show. What I love about this footage is, when you're standing, and it happens to us too if there's a guest in the studio, Fitz, you don't quite know how to... Well, you put your arm around them at the start and then you're not sure whether to leave your arm there. Dickie's gone through 2 minutes of absolute, do I leave my hand there? But here's the
Not
chat.
the first time.
Here's the chat.
Katy Perry.
That's me.
That's her. Another show.
Another show.
Completely sold out Australian tour.
15 shows, yeah.
How cool's that?
We're still in love.
What's it like landing in
Australia and I, we're still very much in it.
Very good. You having fun?
So much fun. Love it. Love it. I traded my American summer from Australia's fall winter.
Well, that's a win for both of us.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Katy Perry.
What I do like is when she says we're still in love and then has to point out Australia and I, we're still in love.
We're still in love.
What's it like landing in
Australia and I, we're still very much in it.
Do you know what? I still remember when I first met Richard Wilkins. I was doing this was radio before you, but I got sent. I got sent over to go to Cockatoo Island, and it was the Wolverine premiere.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was on Cockatoo Island.
Yep.
And you got to speak to Hugh Jackman. I was so excited. And then I thought I could see him in the distance, Richard Wilkins. Wow. I'm going, oh, my God, that guy is like a legend, an entertainment reporter. And then he was gone, and I didn't know where he'd gone, and I was looking around just to introduce myself. And I'd seen that he had then found himself out into the sun on Cockatoo Island, and he fell asleep just on the grass by himself waiting for his interview.
Yeah, and that's the power of Richard Wilkins. He can tan, relaxed, pre-interview and then deliver gold like Katy Perry backstage.
Like fast asleep in an overcoat, a black overcoat and a tight pair of skinny jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it. Amazing.
That's Dickie. He's 1 in a million. Thank you, Richard. We love you, buddy.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.